Yeah. It was beautiful, man. Like, I would watch it again. Like, it was just, the flow of the whole movie and everything just felt very natural, and they weren't trying to change things, and they just kept the character and story. That's why I was happy. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, no. I'd have to message my friend to see, normally I work on Tuesday, but, I'm working my second job tomorrow, so I don't really think it's gonna work, Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm just cooling out. I just wanna, my focus right now is just to get my job and make my money and feel better for myself. And, 2 of the 4.
got Jet Synchron, we got Speedroid. I'm gonna explain why I put that in the deck in a bit. Hold on. We got Jet Synchron, Speedroid Red Eye Dice, Omni Dragon. Obviously, the reason why I put 2 of these, if you guys are wondering, is because I was testing out the deck's consistencies with that pot card that makes you draw cards. I noticed that with all my other versions, when I only had 1 of these, if I had it in my hand, then obviously I needed to synchro summon. Where's that level 2? I needed to have this card on the field so I could special summon him, and I used my big brain and I thought, if I have an extra 1 of these and I have this in my hand, because I know you guys have used the Stardust deck, and I know you guys, if you only had 1 of these, because obviously it's a searcher, right? There's going to come a time where you have Junk Converter in your hand and you have this in your hand. And you're like, fuck, this is the only tuner in my hand that I can really get Jet Synchron and do my plays. So I put 2 of these so that if they're in my hand with this, I have a higher percentage opportunity. Like I have a 90%, or I don't even say 90. I'm gonna have an 80% rate opportunity to use these 2, do my plays, still have this in my deck to search it out when this card is activated, Arriving Light, right? So another thing I put in the deck that you guys didn't see before, I put Quelt Bolt Hedgehog. This is one of maybe 3 graveyard effect monsters that Yusei has in his deck. The other 2 is like the Level Eater, which I think is banned, and the third one is I think like some plant monster. I can't fucking remember actually. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you send this card to your graveyard, like, okay, when you go up against somebody, they're gonna probably have 2 hand negates, right? So if you activate 2 or 1, if you activate Foolish Burial, send 1 monster from your deck to your graveyard, and you don't have Junk Converter in your hand, you don't have Maxx in your hand, you have a choice between sending this or sending this. But you gotta remember, if you send this and you normal summon this and he negates it, this card cannot come back from the graveyard unless you have this in your hand. Activated by targeting 1 level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Or you have this in your hand, where you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. So if you don't have A, B, and you don't have C in your hand, and D in your hand, then I suggest that you send this card to the graveyard, you normal summon him, you normal summon Junk Synchron. He negates this effect. You activate this effect from the graveyard, you special summon it to the field, you do your plays to get out Jet Speeder. The reason why I said this is because you guys got to remember, okay, if you have Maxx in your hand and it's your turn and you only have Junk Synchron in your hand, you can send this card to the graveyard and still do your plays. Never forget that. Alright, so I have 2 Doppel Warriors. Obviously, you don't need 3 of these. They're searchers. This whole deck, this whole extra deck that I'm going to get to, I'm going to explain why they're the consistency to get this card immediately to your hand by end phase is 90% accurate. So I put Speedroid Terratop. Why did I put Speedroid Terratop? Because if you special summon this card, you can get this card to your hand to normal summon. I'm pretty sure this is a 1 and this is a 3. You can make him a 6. You can make a level 7. You can make a level 7, 6, 5, 4, or 3, right? the reason I added this was because of this card in the extra deck. There was times where I was using my version 5, which isn't really ready to be on YouTube yet because the consistency is something I'm trying to figure out. But this deck is 90%, or I would say 92% consistent. So there was times where in the version 4 and the version 1 deck, we may have, I don't know, we may have this tuner on the field because they negated all our shit, they fucked over all our shit, or they negated everything, we activated this effect, we got back this card on the field. Since he destroyed this card got special summoned from the graveyard to search out, I don't know, maybe another warrior or something like that, and we had a level 3 on the field. But we didn't have any level 3 synchro monsters. So I put this card because it's a tuner synchro monster, and when it's synchro summoned by itself, you can add a Speedroy spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So from what I've seen from this combo, if you already have this in the hand, it's kind of gonna fuck it up, because there was times where I had this in my hand, I summoned this, and since I already had a spell or trap in my hand, I couldn't special summon a Speedroid monster from my graveyard. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is the combo with this. This is a tuner, right? So you special summon him, you're gonna get this to your hand. If you control exactly one tuner and no other monsters, special summon one level 4 or lower Speedroid monster from your deck. Neither player can activate cards or effects when that monster is special summoned. So this is a quick play spell. They cannot activate cards or effects when you special summon either this card to the field, or does it say from the hand or graveyard? Yeah, so it doesn't really say it. So I'm pretty sure if this was in your hand, you can special summon them. So you can either bring this, and then like you have, this is level 3, this is a level 3, and you can make this card, or you can bring forth this card, right? And you can make 3 and a 4 is a 7. You can make this guy, get your materials, bring back one of your tuners, and build off from that. Build off maybe Defleur, Crystal Wing, I don't know. Any card you want. I don't really think we need this card anymore, and we're gonna replace it today with something better. Matter of fact, no, don't replace this card. This is good. Because if this was the only card you summoned, you can special summon up to 4 level 2 non-tuner monsters from your hand and or graveyard in defense position. So this card of itself is like a monster reborn, but it special summons multiple cards. So if this was the only card you synchro summon, you have 4 extra monster zones. You're going to special summon 4 monsters that you can do, because it says non-tuner monsters. You can special summon them and build off and build a stronger card. So don't take this card out of that actually. So where was I? Right, so he can activate cards effects with that combo. You can build this card, or you can build this, or you can build this. Right. Samurai Destroy is a great card. We're gonna get to that. Now there was a time where I think I had this card in my hand. I summoned this card, and then since I had this card in my hand, I couldn't activate it to special summon. No. This is what happened. I had multiple cards on the field. The reason this card couldn't activate was because you have to only have one tuner on the field. You're only supposed to have this monster. So I was doing my plays. I had my board. I had this card, which we're gonna get to, and I think I had this, and that's why the mandatory effect didn't activate. But if you summon this card, right, you can search out a monster from your deck, and the monster you want to search out is this card, because if he clears your board and he attacks, and most people are using fusion decks and synchro decks. Well, not synchro decks, but synchro monsters like Sword Souls and stuff like that. This effect's gonna activate when your opponent's monster declares a direct attack while this card is in your hand. You special summon this card in attack mode, and if you do, you change all face-up monsters your opponent controls defense position. So basically, you survive a turn just with this card. It's a level 4, and you can continue to do your plays. What else should I talk about here? Okay, so why did I put Armed Dragon level 3 in my deck? Like I said, we are all trying to build the ultimate shooting star deck, which is 100%, well, at least damn near close to 95% consistency into special summoning. Most of the times when we get a brick hand with this deck, because every deck bricks, when we get a brick hand, what are things we have in our hand? We may have this, we may have like a level 2 tuner, like we may have this in our hand or this in our hand. So how I trick the game with the consistency is, oh boy, how I trick the game with my consistency is, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna ever get a brick, I want to have a searcher to special summon the level 3, because there's sometimes, guys, where I don't have junk converter, I don't have Maxx, I don't have this. All I have is this, and I have this to get a spell card, right? To get any tuning synchron, and I have this in my hand. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna activate this effect. They're not gonna negate it because they're like, oh, he's using an Armed Dragon deck. Oh, this is an easy win. So I special summon this card, I activate this card, I special summon this card to the field, I activate tuning, I get either this card or this card depending what's in my hand that I can like combo with. Like if I had Doppel War, I'd get this. If I didn't have Doppel War, I'll probably just get this, and I synchro summon into Jet Speeder, right? That is the purpose of why I have this card in the deck. It helps keep the consistency balanced, and it allows me to get out Jet Speeder to start the whole combo. Let's continue. So I put 3 of these in my deck. I was thinking of adding, I was thinking really hard on whether I should add this card to my deck. Send one Stardust monster from your deck to the graveyard, blah blah blah, and just do extensions. Increase or decrease this level by 1 until the end of the turn. Like, it is a good card, but the thing is, we already search out that card with this, so there's no point in using this. It's just gonna fuck up the consistency and shit. I was thinking of using this card. Set a signal monster from your hand, face it to the field, to the graveyard, special summon 1 monster from your hand. Now, you guys gotta understand this effect. You could special summon any monster if it's a level 6, a level 7, a level 8, a god card. With this card, you can special summon it from your hand. But you can only do that if you have a synchron monster in your hand. Because you would have to send it to the graveyard. You'd have to send it to the graveyard to special summon that 1 monster. Alright. So that's why I didn't add those in my deck. So let's continue. Ah, no, why did I do that? Fuck. Alright, so I added card destruction. Why did I add card destruction? Why the hell would I add card destruction to a synchron deck? Huh. One word. Maxx. Now, I was facing my friend Arrow, who uses Orchestra Phantom Knight deck. He's been using the same deck for a lot of years, so it's not like this is his first time. I was dueling him, I was doing all these combos, I was doing all my plays, and he activated Maxx. He had 25, he has a 40 card deck. He had 25 cards in his hand, Alright? He had 15 cards left. And I was thinking to myself, yes, this is my second going deck. I was able to do my plays on my going first. But what would have happened if I had card destruction? I'm going to tell you guys. If you activate card destruction, he has 25 cards in his hand. Both players discard as many cards as possible from their hand, then each player draws the same number of cards. If he has 15 cards left, he's going to deck out. All you have to do is end your fucking turn. Doesn't matter if you get Nibiru'd. It doesn't matter about anything in the world. You end your turn. If he has a 40 card deck and you made him draw 20 cards or over, you activate card destruction, he is a dead man. And you just win in one turn. Alright? 1 or 2 turns. I added multiple... Before I didn't have multiple destruction. I only had this card, evenly matched. And we're going to get to this gay card in a second. So, I put card destruction. Like I said, if they activate Maxx and you have this in your hand, they're dead, man. Just summon everything. You're going to be able to summon everything except this. Possibly this. And yeah, you're probably going to be able to special summon everything except this. This. And this. So you're going to have 3 more ways to try to win. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, we got Monster Reborn, we got Foolish Barrow, we got Reinforcement of the Army. 2 of these. This card has helped me out in meta so well. You guys are going to see the next New Year's clip. You guys are going to see where I became Platinum with my Utopia deck. That's my best deck. I made that rogue deck that I've worked really hard with get to fucking Plat 5. My friends were congratulating me. I was congratulating myself. That was everything I ever wanted. I've been playing this game for 8 months, and I think for the past 3 or 4 months is when I actually started to use decks that have combos, because before I was just an Egyptian God card duelist. I just tribute your shit and then summon the God cards with a little support from monsters that don't have combos but like may give me life points, may end the battle phase or whatever. But this card, I'm telling you, this card sends 1 monster your opponent controls out of special summon from the extra deck to the graveyard. Then your opponent gains life points equal to the original attack of that defense monster. If you're dealing with a card that can't be destroyed by battle, cannot be destroyed by card effects, this card does not care, and it will get rid of that fucking card. 100%. Unless the card says it cannot be targeted or it's unaffected, this card will not work. It doesn't even matter if he had a card on the field that if you try to destroy any card on his field, it will protect it. It doesn't matter. This card does not destroy, it sends it from the field to the graveyard. So it bypasses that effect. You can put this card in any deck. It is super helpful. If you got Mirror Jade on the field, you activate this card, you send it, start your plays, do your setup, you're good. So, great card. Why did we add Ready Fusion to our deck in version 6 here? Well, you pay 1,000 life points, you special summon 1 level 6 or lower non-effect monster from your extra deck, but it cannot attack. Also, during the end phase, this card is treated as a fusion summon. So basically, we use this card to get this card out on the field. This is a level 3. So like I said, if with a Yusei Synchro deck, there's times where the brickiest hands you have is where you don't have junk Synchron and you only have level 2 Synchron monsters, right? Right. So once again, I played the game gay with the consistency, and I added an extra layer besides this card, the Armed Dragon Flash, to allow us to get out Jet Speeder. I will warn you though. I'm going to warn you right now. If you activate this card to then normal summon a Synchron level 2, do not summon Jet Speeder. I would advise you to summon this card instead. Because if you summon Jet Speeder, for some odd reason, his effect does not activate. And I don't know why. I don't know why that's a thing, but apparently when you use a fusion monster, so I guess since it's not a regular monster and it's a fusion, it doesn't work. And you can't activate his effect for some weird reason. I don't know why. So look, if you have this, if you have a level 2, I would suggest you to summon this card. So let me explain why this card has made my deck, has made the ultimate Synchron deck literally the most consistent. Or to make this deck the most consistent shooting Majestic Star Dragon deck in the game. I'm gonna get to it. Hold on, I'm just gonna charge my controller. So, if this card is Synchro Summoned, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, send one equipped spell from your deck to the graveyard. Add one warrior monster from your deck to your hand. During the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, so main phase by your opponent's turn, you can target one warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control as a equip spell that gives it a 500 attack point boost, and you can only use this once per turn. So I want to explain two things about this card that I noticed practicing with it, facing my friends with it. Okay, number one, guys, it is a tuner synchro monster. I can't tell you guys how many times I just thought it was a regular level 5 and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this into this into that. It is a level, it's a tuner monster. It's a tuner synchron. All right, it's not a normal level 5. All right, so yes, you can build a level 10 synchro monster, but you got to remember, if you're trying to do some other plays to try to bring out, I don't know, Majestic, you're not going to do that because it's a tuner. It's not going to work. So let me explain two things. When you normal summon, you activate its effect. At the end phase, you can get any warrior. You can get this, or you can get Doppel Warrior, or you can get Jug Synchron. Depending on what's in your hand, you will be able to do your plays not just the next turn, but you will have follow-ups. Alright, there's certain things I do with this card. Like, I can activate his effect if I have Hyper Librarian on the field, which I always do within my combo. I'm gonna synchro summon it into the Fleur, right? The effect is still a mandatory effect, so once you end your turn, you're still gonna get the warrior monsters and stuff. It doesn't have to. I thought when I first used it, it has to be on the field, but it doesn't have to be on the field. Once this effect is activated, the end phase, it doesn't matter if it's in the graveyard, two effects are gonna pop. The two effects is you're gonna get to pick a warrior monster to add to your hand, number one. Number two, on your opponent's main phase, his secondary effect's gonna activate it, and you're gonna equip this card by comboing to the Fleur, boosting it to 3,500 attack. There's not a lot of monsters that are 3,500 attack or can beat off 3,500 attack. Okay, so if your end board is him, and him, you're gonna win because you got two mandatory negates, and this card can't be destroyed by battle by card effect, and it's boosted with this card to have 3,100 attack. So pretty much, unless they have Droplet, they can't really get past your place. And Droplet fucks up any board. So you got to be careful when you do your Maxx challenge, and you got to pray to God that you have this card, or you have multiple destructions set that you can mix them up the next turn. Because I'm pretty sure if both players have 3 or more cards in their hand, each player, yeah, they discard their entire hand from the bottom of the deck in any order. You lose life points equal to the total number of cards returned by 300. Oof. I think we got to take this card out. Let's calculate this. So, hold on. If he has 25 cards in his hand, uh, 25 times 3. Oof. Yeah, we should take this card out. Because I don't know if my math is right, but if he has 25 cards in his hand times 300, we're gonna lose 7,500. Well, if it's the OTK, I don't think none of us really give a fuck. But like, I'm doing the math here, and I put 25 times 300, and pretty much, if we, because we went first, right? They never dealt us damage, they never did their plays yet. So if we activate multiple destruction, they have to get rid of their whole hand and draw the same number of cards. So we're gonna take 7,500 life points when we activate this card. But we're still gonna win of deck out because, like I said, he doesn't have another 25 cards, right? So, like I said, it's still a good card to keep, good card to use. We don't have to get rid of it. I was panicking for a second. I was like, wait, wouldn't we kill ourselves? Hold on. Yeah, no, we're fine. I skipped a couple cards because I was talking about this one. I pretty much explained its two effects. And you want to use him and him to make him, to then have him go on to him to boost him to 3,500. Now, I added Salesman to the deck. Now, why is this gay? When I was trying to fix, like, adjust my Utopia deck to the point where it made plat, I had Salesman in my deck. Forget Prohibition. Jesus, like, I had one person in the comments was telling me about Prohibition, so I took a week to test out Prohibition with my deck. I had 2 Prohibitions, I had 1 Prohibition, I had 3 Prohibitions. Most of the times when you have 3 Prohibitions, if you guys don't know what Prohibition is, I'm gonna search it right now. It's the same thing as Salesman, but okay. Activate by declaring 1 card name. Cards with that name and their effects cannot be used. Cards already on the field are not affected, including face down cards. So you activate this card, you put Maxi, they can't activate Maxi. You put Ash, they can't activate Ash. They put Imperm, they can't activate Imperm that turn. You put Nibiru, they can't activate Nibiru. It's the same thing as Salesman, but I'm gonna tell you why this card's a piece of shit, and Salesman, and even having one of them in your deck is better. Is this once per turn? Once per duel. So what I did before, I had this and I had like Prohibition, or I had 2, but I was getting bricks. I wasn't getting, the consistency was all fucked up all over the place, and I would get this card but I can't do combos. I'd get this card, I'll maybe get Salesman in my hand, I get this but I can't do combos, I can't do extensions, I can't do my plays. I gotta either surrender, set one stupid card, which I don't want to do, and end my turn. So do not use Prohibition. It's a great card. If you have a way to shrink this deck, even though it's got a perfect 92% consistency rate, going first or second, if you you will fuck up the consistency rate by shrinking the deck, and then you're gonna get this card in your hand, but you're gonna notice you can't do your play. So you can test it out. You can build this deck, make a copy of this deck, shrink it to 40 cards, put Prohibition in your deck, put Salesman in your deck. Like, as long as you stop your opponent from stopping your plays, that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad card, it's a great card, but what I'm trying to say is trying to find the right balance with monsters and spells and everything, and you have like 2 of these in your deck, and you have 2 of these, and then you have Synchron Chase, which your Synchron monsters are unaffected anyways. Because pretty much I remember I had like 2 of these, I had Salesman, and I had this, and I had 51 cards, and I made it 50 cards, but I never saw this card, and I never saw this card in my hand. With this deck, this synergy, I was able to see this card, and I was able to see this card, which you saw in the video prior. So like I said, you can copy this deck, make a 7th version of the deck, shrink it to 40 cards, and do your plays. I'm gonna get to this card in a minute. I'm gonna get to suggestive cards you could add to your deck. So where were we? So So pretty much you understand salesman. You declare a name, they cannot activate it. If you're up against a branded fusion player, most of the time they have Fallen Abyss set. So if you put Fallen Abyss, they can't activate it. They cannot fusion summon into Guardian to pop your whole field. So you would put that. It's a gamble between Falling Abyss and the branded fusion spell. So yeah. Why did I add Moon Mirror Shield to my deck? Listen guys, what happens with most synchro decks that you play? I gotta hurry this up. When you deal with a synchron deck and you get the brickiest brick ever, you got Moon Mirror Shield. It doesn't, I don't care if your attack points was 400 or 0. If you have Moon Shield and he attacks you with a monster that's 5,000 attack, this card is going to give you attack and defense equal to the monster's attack, plus you're going to be 100 attack points higher during the damage step only. If this face-up card is sent from the field to the graveyard and you know that you still have a brick and whatever, then I would put this card to the top of your deck. If you feel like you can do some plays, I'll put it at the bottom of the deck. Okay, obviously we have Living Fossil. We have 3 of these. I've already explained in other clips why this card is better than Living Fossil. It's better because if you bring back the level 2 monster from the graveyard, and when you synchro off him, he goes back into the graveyard. He doesn't go to the Banish zone. When you try to do the same thing with this card, it goes to the Banish zone. So yeah. So we have this card. Obviously, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects response to synchron monsters. So once you activate him, you do your plays, you synchro summon and shit, he's probably going to only be able to negate this card, which is going to be retarded because you're going to be able to do more plays and set your board, fuck them up, OTK. So yeah, there's that. Why do I have Emergency Teleporter in the deck? Just like the reason I was explaining before with Arm Dragon, and I was explaining before with this card to bring forth either this. No. Sorry. This card is because of a secondary effect for Arm Dragon and Ready Fusion to get Jet Speed. Well, don't use Ready Fusion to get Jet Speeder out, but to get a level 5 monster out on the field. Okay. You would use this card effect to special summon this Psychic monster, which is a level 2. So if you have a level 3, you don't have to activate his effect and just normal summon him. If he's a retard, he's going to activate Ash Blossom on this card, thinking you're going to bring a card from the graveyard, and then he gets mixed. And then, like, if he's a real retard, and then you just do your plays with the Jet Speeder, which I have it in a clip. Actually, I think it was my version 4. I had him on the field, I normal summoned, then he activated Ash Blossom on my Jet Synchron, and I just did my plays and he fucking lost, got OTK'd. We have 1 Called by the Grave. Look, if you guys want to put 2 Called by the Graves, for all means go ahead. I'd recommend you get rid of one of these, put 2 Called by the Graves. It's a very important card. It stops hand traps and stuff like that. But with the consistency that I was trying to figure out, when I had 2 of these and I had 1 of these and I had Sales Ban and I had Prohibition, I had all these different things that stop mandatory effects, I was getting the most brickiest hands in the world. Alright, so that's why I put him at a 1. So why did I put Uni Song Tuning? I was actually, while trying to figure out this deck, I was trying to figure out other ways I could make my deck a little more consistent. Like, what would happen if I just had a super brick and I only had 1 tuner on the field? Let me explain. And this card actually helped me out. So I was searching around other Synchron decks, and I saw a Synchron Duelist, which, you know, I liked the video, obviously. He used this card and he was able to do extenders with his plays. So basically, look, if you have a tuner monster on the field, and if you have a tuner monster on the field and you wanted to build a certain card, this card is going to help you. Especially if the cards on your field don't equal like a 10 or an 11. You can, with this card, you can fix that. So you target one tuner in your graveyard and one face-up monster on the field. You banish the tuner in your graveyard. Then, until the end of this turn, the level of the targeted monster on the field becomes the level of the banished tuner. Also, it is treated as a tuner. So basically, you can turn any synchro monster into a tuner, and depending on the tuner monster you banish, which is either a 3 or a 2 or a 4 or a 5, you can make that monster a 5, build out the Fleur. You can make him a 4, bring out Crystal Wings, Stardust, whatever you want, your choice. This card is very helpful for the deck. Now we get to our final card, Evenly Matched. Now look, I was playing in ranked. I was gold 1 before I even got to plat, and I was fighting this Yugioh kid, man. Freaking, you wouldn't believe this. I set the goddamn board. You guys seen my Utopia. I set the board. This is not a quick play spell. It says normal trap, right? Which means you have to set it, then activate it. So this is what this kid did. He went to battle phase. He had no cards on the field, right? And then he ended battle phase to go to main phase 2. This effect activated in his hand. He activated. I had to send every card on my field except one monster. So, if you want to put 2 of these in the decks and keep it at 49 cards or 48 cards, this card will be so useful to getting rid of a meta board that is going to be hard for you to play around with your Synchron deck. Because most players, when they set up their board, they don't really have any more hand effects in their hand. They just have their board of negates. So if they're dueling in a way where they only have a board of negates, like my Utopia deck, and just my trap cards, which are other negates, then they're gonna get mixed. Okay, if they have one hand effect in their hand or whatever, it's whatever. Like, we can't judge what's in our hand. But listen, if they have a board, you have this card in your hand, go to battle phase and battle phase, they got to get rid of their whole board. They have one monster, right? They're probably going to leave a monster on the field that's either unaffected or can be targeted or can be destroyed by card effects or whatever. It's probably going to have a negate, so you're going to have to run through one negate. So, like I said, with our deck, we're able to special summon. Like, if we activate this effect, it's not going to negate it because it's Armed Dragon Flash. It's going to be like we're using an Armed Dragon deck. We do that, we get that, we get Jet Speeder. Or we activate Foolish Burial, we send this card to the graveyard, we activate this, he negates it, we probably have one of our equip spells in our hand, we bring that card back, we build Jet Speeder, we chain. Oh, okay, listen guys, I want to explain this. When you build Jet Speeder with Junk Converter and Junk Synchron, activate Junk Converter's effect from the graveyard to special summon one of your Junk Synchrons from the graveyard that you use as material to the field. It's called chain blocking. It's a thing right now in Master Duel, and it helps you out a lot. If he has Ash Blossom, like, it won't work with Infinite Imperm or Effect Veiler, I think. Matter of fact, no, it would work with Effect Veiler, unless Effect Veiler can target any card on the field. I'm not sure how Effect Veiler. Alright, so let's get to the extra deck. I've talked about this, I talked about this, I talked about this. Now this card. This card is the gayest level 4 card. Trust me, I looked at all of them. There's other level 4 monsters. There's a level 4 monster to UR where if he's destroyed by card effect or by battle or he's just sent to the graveyard or whatever, he has this effect where you get deal 2000 and he gets deal 2000. So if you build your Synchron deck to burn him or whatever, or you're using chain energy or whatever, you would probably be able to kill him before he kills you, OTK, FTK or whatever. But this card's gay because if this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by any means, you target what face-up monster your opponent controls, you equip this card from your graveyard to that monster cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated. If this card leaves the field while equipped to that opponent's monster by card effect, take control of the opponent's monster. So I think, like, if he fucks up your back row or he tries to kill this card or whatever, if it doesn't matter if this card was equipped to Mirror Jade or like one of those gay meta cards, you're gonna steal his card and you're gonna have all their mandatory effects. So it's basically like a brain control, but a better version. Talked about this, and obviously you already know this. Okay, so Samurai Destroyer is a great card. If this card battles an opponent's monster, it kind of acts like an Ancient Gear card. If it battles an opponent's monster, they cannot activate cards or effects to the end of the damage step. Also, that opponent's monster has its effects negated during the battle phase only. So when you attack, let's say you attacked Mirror Jade cannot activate its card effects because it says in this card's context, during your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So once you attack and destroy Mirror Jade, I think it's going to have its graveyard effect, but it cannot just banish this card. It can banish this card the moment you summon it, but if you already used this effect last turn and then it's a new turn, you can kill it. Mirror Jade isn't as great as you guys think it is. It's a piece of shit. People activate its effect right off the rip first, and then they can't activate the effect the second phase, and then you just get rid of the shit, build your board, OTK, blah blah blah. So if this face-up card is in your owner control, leaves the field because of opponent's card effect, listen to this, guys. You can target one machine monster in your graveyard special summon. So which machine monster are we going to special summon? We are going to special summon Power Tool Dragon. Do we have any other machines? Well, this is a machine, and I pretty much think that's it. Yeah, because this is a warrior. Okay, so we're going to special summon Power Tool. Like I said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equip spells. So you just get one of these and start some extensions to build up to bring out like maybe this or a powerful card. And I think that's it.